Welcome, Michael Lee Hill. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you on the show. So, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, guy. Thank you for having me and this opportunity to share.
Well, I think that you're unique. You know, of all the people that I speak to and the people that have wanted to come on and chat with me, that there is nobody out there that I've ever come across that has your genetic makeup. And I just find you fascinating. And as soon as you said to me that, your bloodline goes back all the way through Tartaria and off planet, I thought
Yeah,
we've got to talk. We've got to hear about this. And obviously, just a moment ago, you shared with me that you're RH null. You are golden blood, and that's absolutely fascinating. How did you find that out?
because in the past, I began filming these UFOs or UAPs, whatever you want to call them, um, over Lake Erie. And that my footage started to draw quite attention, and that landed me on the History Channel. And they had another contactee. His name was Terrell Copeland, and I didn't know him. We didn't know each other, but he had filmed the same orbs of light. But he was a Marine, and he was being sent elsewhere, and they did a test on his blood and found out he had RH null. Didn't know what was causing it, what it is. So then 2 weeks later, they came and talked to me. And what I didn't know is originally my segment in that show was only supposed to be 5 minutes long, but they realized he and I had filmed the exact orbs of light, have the same story of contact, the same spiritual message given to pay attention, think about what you're thinking about. But the military found out he had this strange blood anomaly. So they couldn't figure it out. The History Channel thought, wouldn't it be weird if these two guys that don't know each other but have all the similarity in their stories? So they flew us all, both of us, to Boston. They're really smart because they didn't tell me this guy. I am the biggest baby and I don't like needles. And I would probably said no if I knew that they're sending me there to have my blood work done. But when I got there, that's what it was. They were like, "Oh, we're going to the hospital now." I'm like, "For
Oh
what?"
my God.
And sure enough, man, I had to act like a big boy and act like it didn't hurt. And that's when I found out. And the guy was actually his name was Professor uh, David Sistrom. And I said, "What are you talking about that I don't have normal human blood?" And he was kind of not real nice, to put it nicely.
Really?
Well, yeah, he said, "What do you think unknown means?" He said, "We don't know what to tell you." He said, "If I had to venture a guess, that there's a virus that's tricking your body into releasing these massive amounts of creatine kinase." We can get into that. I don't think we even got into that, but that's how I found out
Right.
is because of being on the History Channel and then flying me to Boston to have my blood work done by a Harvard professor. Because up until that time, I'd never even given blood. I'm that much of a baby. I think it's because of my Native American Indian heritage and what we call sun dancing, which involves flesh piercing, which
Yeah.
I don't agree with anymore. And that's one thing. I'm causing waves through the Native American Indian community because I'm like, these flesh and blood sacrifice ceremonies are not necessary, but they're still happening. It's all, as you know, man, the parasites, I like that name, by the way. It's, if it's in a different culture, it's not going to be gift wrapped as a Native American Indian culture. It's going to be
Yeah.
gift wrapped for the Chinese. It's going to be gift wrapped differently for this culture. It
Yeah.
always deals with a ceremony that you're going to give your energy away to an illusionary outside source, then you're done. Then the dark side is proven you're not ready to go through the proverbial Stargate. You've given your energy away. And they're good, they're tricky at getting you. How do they see if you'll give it away to them? They'll see if they can get you to give it away to them. It's like
Yeah.
dark carrots. They dangle. And then if you bite the dark carrot, then they can go back to the one in charge and say, look, here's another one that was corruptible. They're easily corruptible.
Yeah.
That's,
S-
but some of us aren't.
So it was literally you being on the History Channel and you sharing the footage that you had, then led to you having blood work done. So up until that point, you didn't know you were RH null, because it's
No clue.
I from what I understand, both parents have to be RH null for the child to be.
Mm, that would make sense. I didn't even know. I met my birth mother in late 2008, and I met her and I met my two sisters, well, half sisters, and I found out who my biological father is. Man, you want to reveal a big one?
Go for it.
Guess who I found out is my biological father, and I'm in contact with his management team right now in the UK.
Really?
Uh, Eric Clapton.
No way. Wow.
Way. I know, man. You can't make this shit up. Excuse my language. So I play guitar. I love
Yeah, you're a
guitar.
musician. Yeah.
Yeah, and but I might be meeting him here within the next few months if the stars line up. And the Anunnaki keep telling me we didn't come this far to only come this far. And every time I try to talk myself out of stuff, it tells me, well, Michael, you've learned something, but obviously not enough.
So you are being communicated
Yeah,
by the
constantly.
Anunnaki. They're constantly,
Yeah.
and that's just coming into your mind. They're talking to you.
No, it's coming in. Where the biggest school happened is when I went into the NSA, the reverse engineering division. Uh, Imagine being taken into an Anunnaki classroom that was using crop circles as chalkboards to show you geometry that's attached to cosmic harmonious frequencies, specifically this frequency. This is the 432 frequency, but
Hmm.
put through a simoscope, and then I encase it in quartz crystal, and it has a copper wrap. Um,
All about the copper, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. Well, this is what. Well, we can get into this.
Mm.
This is Tartarian technology. This because of Richard Hoagland, who is NASA's science advisor. He said, Michael, we know your story sounds crazy to most other people, but NASA has been looking into how energy flows hyperdimensionally for a very long time. And your numbers are right on the money. So he's the one that arranged for a NASA world renowned biophysicist. Her name is Beverly Rubik, and she is a consultant for NASA. I sent her one of these, and it's history in the making. It brings through 400% increase of chi and prana of anything that's in its field. So you can do chakra work over people's chakras. And I have all the scientific proof of it revitalizes dead municipal tap water. When I met the Anunnaki, they said, we in your past, Michael, were known as the Anunnaki. At that time in 2008, there was no ancient aliens on. That made no
Yeah.
sense to me whatsoever. I'm like, well, the hell's that? And they
Mm.
said, you in your past was once known as Ea Enki, the water bearer. And I'm like, well, if you don't know who the Anunnaki are, you sure as hell don't know who Enki is. To
Yeah.
me, it was like someone coming up and going, hey, guy, you know you're the Easter Bunny, right? It is like, well, or whatever, you know. But now, because of my work being taken to Beverly Rubik, this resurrects and revitalizes dead municipal tap water scientifically back into energetics NASA's never seen before. And imagine what that does to drink. All you do is use this as a coaster, but you can do whole energy work with it. And the last thing that happened was it's called the Meissner field. That's your aura field.
Yeah.
And there's whole, like, you can check technology can show you a photograph of your whole Meissner field. And this is right after I had my eyes retina reattachment and things were not good. And it showed seven. black clouds all over my body. And where a black cloud showed up, that's because the energy is out of homeostasis. And the dude said, okay, hold out your hand. He had brought this over earlier, so I didn't have to hold it. He just put it in my right hand. I put it on top of my left hand that was on the diodes to his machinery. He hit image again, and every single thing, energy center that was out of homeostasis, was instantly brought back into homeostasis. It's like having your own Qigong master, just, and there's no meditation. This is Tesla 369 energy. Beverly Rubik said, apparently, Michael has invented a cosmic energy transceiver. And I'm like, well, what is cosmic energy? I never heard that term. Here's Nikola Tesla's own words for his unlimited free energy. And NASA's freaked out because this is the first time they've ever seen it being increased by 400%, but there's no moving parts. It's just frequency encoded with holographic technology and quantum physics. Dude, I don't want to word vomit on you, but I got something very important to share with you that the Anunnaki
Yeah.
have told me. Tartarian technology, dude. I'm
Yes.
just gonna spit it out, man, if you
Yeah,
don't
share
mind.
it. Yeah, no, no, you go ahead.
This is the equation that solves the unified field equation, the particle wave duality of quantum physics. Here it is. Well, the first part we know, the particle mass part of the equation, E equals mc squared. E is energy, m is mass or particle, and c is the speed of light. The frequency component is 432 times 432 becomes C, and E equals mc squared. Some people will tell you it's within 1% accuracy, but Richard Hoagland said, no, the whole equation is pulsating, that the speed of light is not constant. It slightly gets faster and slower as it goes through the galactic center, through the ether, so 432 times 432 is the divine speed of light. At no other frequencies will do it. 441 won't do it. 433 won't do it. 440 ain't going to do it. And 528 won't do it. The only frequency that plugs into E equals mc squared is 432 hertz. But on the wave, because that's all fine and dandy, cool. Where's the wave component? 432 times the golden ratio squared divided by 360 equals the mathematical constant of pi. That brings that brings in all the Fibonacci sequences
Yeah.
and the golden mean and the wave component. With this equation, mankind will be able to work at every Planck length of energy from galactic to quantum.
So how did this happen? Did the Anunnaki
Because
give you this information?
because it started off with crop circles. As I
Mhm.
said, they were using crop circles to show me the relationship of geometry. And specifically, when you, no one knows this yet, it's freaking fantastic. When you take 4 octaves below 432, which is 27 hertz, right on the money, to get it to a proper scientific lower frequency, you just divide or multiply by 2. So it's 432, 216, 108. 108 is fascinating because Tibetan monks have 108 prayer beads. And these numbers are encoded because they're also precessional cycle numbers. That's what I'm bringing to the table because, like my friends like Graham Hancock, they know that these ancient cultures encoded precessional cycle numbers all over, but they don't, because they're not musicians, they don't know its
Yeah.
frequency
Yeah.
information. And if you take the precessional cycle, 25,920, the Anunnaki call it the long year, their longest time slice, divided by the lowest, 60 seconds. 432 is the answer. And Graham Hancock said, that's very interesting because I said 43,200 is how many seconds is in 12 hours, 432 again. And he
Hmm.
said, that's really fascinating because if you take the height and the width of the Great Pyramid in Giza and multiply it by 43,200, you get the actual true dimensions of planet Earth.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's incredible, isn't it? And
it's hard to wrap your head around, dude. And even Tartaria, um, I knew about my bloodline. I knew everything, but this is like the final icing on the cake. And
mm,
especially Cleveland. I've been living in Cleveland the whole time. Um, I'm so flabbergasted. I don't even know if that's the word. It's hard to wrap your head around that we've been this lied to. And
yes.
I'm no different. I was just as asleep as everybody else. Now to drive around Cleveland with my eyes open, I'm like in a new universe, dude.
Yeah. People keep saying that to me that as soon as Tartaria hit their radar, they're now walking around their town or city where they live and looking at the buildings and thinking, well, that's out of place. We didn't build that. Look at those windows buried in the pavement. What have they done to the roof? They're suddenly seeing everything that they didn't notice before, and it's getting
Yeah.
so big. They can't stop. This is snowballing. Tartaria is snowballing now. So when did you wake up?
Mm. I would say really the thing that really broke me through was in around 2000s. My aunt was going through a divorce and was living here. I'm in caregiver mode with my parents right now. So uh, she was going through a divorce. She was living here.
Sorry,
Her
Mike. When you
new
say
husband,
your parents, I'm guessing that you were adopted.
yes,
Yeah,
these are my adoptive parents.
yeah.
Yes. Um, and her new husband came to the house and shot and killed her. She lived for a week.
Oh
That
my
caused me to
God.
hit something like mental, where I screamed out to the universe, if there's anyone out there or in here, you need to speak up, man. I need some answers. And I didn't get answers like, well, here's the answers. No,
Mm,
what they gave me is an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. And I was started to be guided to information. Like the Seth material was huge for me. Channeled by Jane Roberts. Are
hmm.
you familiar?
No.
It's so good, dude. It's all about quantum physicists are
Hmm.
now going back and studying the Seth material from the 60s because it's all he's explaining quantum physics and it's accurate, but he just uses his own terminology.
Yeah.
But it's all about thoughts creating reality, and consciousness truly is underneath all manifestation of physicality. So highly recommend the Seth material to anyone that wants something good to read. But that's kind of what started the whole thing is, tragedy in my close circle made me cry out for answers. And what I got was a thirst for reading.
So what happened? I mean, when did you first realize that you were communicating with the Anunnaki?
Um, Slowly, when I would go down to Lake Erie, I had a Sony Handycam that I would put on a tripod, and I learned how to use it. I learned first of all take off the autofocus because if that ball of light going by the lake, man,
Mm,
if it goes out of focus, you're screwed. You'll never get it back in focus.
mm,
So I found out like to take it off. But I also found out I work with David Sarita, and he had showed me that things might be invisible to your naked eye,
yeah.
but if you flip the camera into night shot or like
Mm,
super infrared, then all of a sudden you get more detail and more shit shows up.
yeah.
So I would got to the point that I could be filming really good footage. And as I'm filming without stopping, I could take my thumb up and go, and flip that switch on the camera and flip it into super night shot, then all of a sudden you could see the layout of the lake. You could see the double orb UFO and one come up over it, and you can see exactly how high they are. That's why Bill Burns, of the UFO Hunters show, he said, I have the best footage that anyone's ever seen because, first of all, I learned how to use my camera and it's on a tripod, and I have
Mm.
hours of it. Yeah.
So what happened then? They slowly started communicating telepathically
Well,
with you.
well, yeah, even down there, this is before I even met them in the flesh. That was in 2008. Before that, I didn't like filming them
Mm,
because here they are. The colors are so beautiful. It's like multi-dimensional Christmas orbs. You know what I mean?
mm,
It's like the most beautiful purples and greens. And here I'm looking at it through a little black and white viewfinder.
yeah.
But I knew it was important to catalog it, but I didn't like it. So I started even talk to them when I'm down there. I'm like, listen, I have mind-blowing footage already. Unless you do something different, I'm not filming you anymore. Until you come closer or do some type of behavior that makes me get my camera out. I just want the color to hit my retinas. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Like I don't want to do this anymore. Like get
yeah.
another guy. But one day, man, I had 2 hours of I was filming on digital 8 tape at that time. That was fancy. And I had two 1 hour tapes just filled that night with activity. And to the point that I was like, I wonder if they really know. Because if people see what's on this tape,
Mm,
it's going to cause an uproar.
yeah.
And I thought, well, I wonder if they know. And this voice said, well, ask them. There's no one out here. Ask them. Ask them to do like, if you want a yes or no. So I did. I said, if you know, like I got some crazy footage here, if you don't care and you want me to release this, then you need within the next 5 minutes to do something.
Yeah.
Make it clear. And I promise you, and I wouldn't have because I'm a man of my word. If they would have showed up within 5 minutes, I would have never done anything. I would have saved it and I would not have released it. But since there wasn't even a sparkle out there, and up until that point, I had 2 hours of tape. It was like that was strange not to have even a little spark of light.
Yeah.
I said, well, all right, cool. That must mean you are cool with me releasing this. Let's celebrate. And I went to light up a joint. I partake. I know some people might, but I don't get the camera high. That's all I'm saying. So I went, I went to light it up, and the whole sky, like a mothership, appeared out of nowhere. And it was like these two orbs of light were teeter tottering, and a million rows of lights going. Brrr, like I couldn't hear it, but it was like going
Yeah.
up and in between, and they're going like this in the sky, and it was like 3 football fields lengths long, and these are super bright, and these orbs of light start dropping down out of the mothership and go and like coming down and taking 90-degree turns. That's when they let me know they're on my side. And sure enough, anytime I ask them to increase their behavior,
Yeah.
they have. So they never give me a break. And now they put in a brand new walking trail. And it starts if anyone wants to come and experience this phenomenon yourself. It's called Painesville Township Park in Ohio. And they have about half of the trail done. This year it'll be finished and it'll be 2.5 miles right through the heart of the Lake area UFO phenomenon. They told me the Anunnaki said we're going to take first contact out of the hands of the governments. I'm going to
Wow.
take thousands of people down. I'm going to start doing conferences here. And then we'll all take a field trip,
So who's
ride
building
down,
the
and here they are, you know?
so will they actually see them?
Yeah, right now it's already started, man. The next city over for me, I'm in East Lake. The next city is Menor and then Painesville. In Menor, right, Ohio, the last 3 months, there's been at least four major media, CBS, NBC, ABC news broadcasts of people witnessing these orbs of light coming up
Mm,
out of Lake Erie and going back down into Lake Erie. And you know how recently the orbs of light showed up all over the world, and they sent out drones, and
Yes.
to try
Yeah.
to see what the hell's going on. People don't know that the phenomenon first started in Lake Erie. These orbs of light. When I was into the reverse engineering division, he said, "Michael, you know what's underneath you in that area, don't you?" I said, "No." And he said, "It's the world's oldest underground cities, and it's not ours." He said, "You know what's underneath that they just revealed? What's underneath the pyramids in Giza?
Uh-huh.
Oh, they're all over the planet, but
Yeah.
the oldest structure and the largest is under my feet right now. I don't have to go anywhere. But they're also under Chaco Canyon. They're under Angkor Wat. They're under Sedona. They're under places in Russia. I mean, do you know about the ant people in the Hopi?
Yes, yes, I do. Yes.
Do you know ant people means Anunnaki? Well, the friends of Anu.
No, I didn't know that. It's a similar
Ant,
story, isn't it? The ant people to
well,
the yeah.
it is. Ant means Anu in their language. If you translate it, uh, people means friend. So ant people in their language means friends of Anu.
Right.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
And during the Earth change, they brought people into underground sanctuaries.
Hmm.
That's what these places are under pyramids and stuff, dude. They're Anunnaki holiday inns that before the firmament went before, as you know, before the mother gives birth, the water breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these so
So as
these
long as we're not on the surface, all is well.
so basically right now there are beings underground. There are
Yes.
civilizations fully operational underground, and they're coming out through the water.
Yes.
Yeah, because I've always thought we don't want to be looking up if we want to see one of these craft. They're coming out of the water, and I think that's why we've been convinced to look in the sky for alien activity. That they come from another planet, they come from far away because they're already here. And it's like when someone says to me, Antarctica, Antarctica, I instantly think no, Arctic. Let's look at the North Pole. If the system is telling us to look at the South Pole and worry about what's going on there, we need to do the opposite.
Tell you why they said it's here is under Lake Erie is the world's largest salt deposits. Morton Salt is about 5 minutes down the lake to the east, and salt is crystal. So this area truly is sitting on the world's largest crystal. And he said it's the largest planetary chakra, which could be thought of as a stargate. And that's some of the work I will be doing. Well, between me and you, that's why Tesla was here, man. I The whole story of what Tesla was doing in Cleveland has been thrown into my lap. And I'm actually a little weirded out by it because I know I'm going up against the oil banking families.
Yeah,
And I don't have any F's left to give. But
yeah,
I know I'm putting my life in danger. But I'm just tired of it, man. It's bullshit that we came so close to unlimited free energy.
yeah.
Do you know about Millionaires Row here in Cleveland?
No, no, I don't.
Oh, guy. It might be too much to get into right now, but Tesla Westinghouse
Hmm.
got the gig to install an electrical system in Tower City. It's called Terminal Tower at that time. And Tesla put in a whole AC trolley electrical car system, the first of its kind in the world. And but in to power the electrical trolley system, he put in pretty much a smaller version of what he did in Niagara Falls. He
Right,
made a man-made waterfall.
right.
It actually has 174 3-inch tubes coming out of the waterfall that all feed the waterfall. It's not It said it's actually then each tiny waterfall actually generates even more electricity. When it hits the bottom, there's two turbines that spin that create the electricity. He hung a Tesla tower right above it in the atrium, and that's what generated the power for Cleveland's first AC. If you look into it now, they'll tell you Westinghouse had a hydroelectric system to power this Tesla. No, man, it's right there. It's still freaking functioning. It's been
Really?
hidden from the world. Yeah, I was just there, dude. So I took my technology. This, it's a receiver and a transmitter, even though in 2010 they removed the antenna. Guess what? This will charge water to energetics that NASA's never even seen before. This is in Tesla's water vortex right now in Tower City. And the antenna isn't even needed, man. This is a transceiver. This is transmits cosmic energy. And NASA said anything that is in the field of this, the energy grows exponentially. I said, wait a minute, the crystal would just shatter. That can't be right. They said, no, it increases on the transmission. The flow gains in intensity the longer something is in the field of this. So we'll see. I hope to God I just activated the world's unlimited free energy Tartarian system of this planet. I'll
So
tell you
you're
what,
kind
it was the strangest thing because I'm like, you know what? I wonder if anything's going to happen. And I'm not taking credit for this, but every night over Lake Erie has been the craziest aurora borealis I've ever seen in the history before. But we do have crazy solar activity. I'm having fun with it, man. Why not?
yeah, yeah, why not? I mean, I'm guessing that you were attacked before they came for you.
Yeah.
Do you lie awake at night now? I mean, I know you said you
No,
got
when
no
I met
more.
the Anunnaki, they said they, you know, here's what happened is they said, we need to know what you know. Because at first I was in front of Marduk, Ra,
Yeah,
and um, he said, we need to know what you know. I'll grab this. He brought out this looked like this actually, and pointed it at my third eye. And this was a purple diode, and it was bright. And I could feel it stimulating my third eye, my pineal gland.
yeah.
I remember actually saying, truth serum, well, have at it. And that's when everything went into what he said, oh, we've been waiting for you to reveal yourself. And now that you're here, we'd like to have a council meeting, and there'll be a celestial object arriving soon in our skies. I found out it's called Comet Apophis. And do you know about Comet Apophis?
No, I don't.
Mm, scary. But all I can tell you is it's not what people are being told. But when Comet Apophis is a comet.
Hmm.
People like Neil deGrasse Tyson has already
Hmm.
said it's real. And people like Elon Musk, they know it's coming. It's going to be here in 2029, and it's going to pass underneath the Earth's satellite systems, in between the Earth and the moon. And it's the size of the world's largest football stadium. Said in 2029, it'll be 13 to 15 times the size of the full moon as it flies by.
Wow.
Not going to be debatable. Like, hey,
Yeah.
wasn't that a big freaking giant rock that just flew by?
Mm.
But now the problem is it's trapped in Earth's gravity.
Right.
And it goes and it's going to come back around a little bit lower altitude, go back, come back lower. So next time it might be 18 times the size, 20 times the size of the full moon. Each pass, I think there's four more passes. 2036, we're going to be told is impact, and it's not survivable. It's the movie Greenland
So
or Don't Look Up, the comet coming in.
yeah, yeah. So 2036, it's going to
Yeah,
impact Earth.
but I'm sitting next to Chief Golden Light Eagle, who has very well, another subject, but he said us the chiefs have got permission to reveal we have prophecy that the moon will take the strike. That he said, if you look at the movie, The Time Machine,
Yeah.
that in the future, when mankind has been enslaved and they pan up, the moon is cracked into three pieces. He said it's already in the Akash. And mankind,
Right.
because this person has a very high spiritual role here. He was the one, Yahweh was known to us Native American Indians long before the Bible. He
Mm.
was known as the chief that sat between two councils of war and peace chiefs. Emerald tablets of Thoth call these the seven lords of light and the seven lords of darkness. Us natives call them so Chief Golden Light Eagle. People don't even know who he was, but he's been on Ancient Aliens many times. He's like the biggest American, Native American spokesperson to reveal these things. That's Yahweh. I could show you an actual video of him talking to the producers, and they're like, "Well, what is a chief?" And he's like, "Well, this headdress, every feather tells a story, and there's a prayer that's attached to it." But he said people don't understand. There's two kinds of chiefs. There's war chiefs and peace chiefs. And he pointed to his headdress and he said, "This is the only one that's both." I was invited to a Sundance, and he said, "Michael, I worked once told him I would not participate in the flesh and blood ceremony aspect. I said,
Yeah.
I respect if this is your way, cool, not my way. I will not participate in this." The craziest thing happened. He said, "Michael, Spirit is so happy that you would not participate. Spirit looks at anybody who participates in these flesh and blood sacrifice ceremonies as prostitutes. They're
Right.
spiritual prostitutes. They're actually looking for people that won't go along with it. Isn't that weird? They call it
Yeah, that
Heyoka.
is.
That's backwards magic. It's like everyone there thinks the chief wants them to participate in this, while he's like, I'm the only one who sits in the middle of light and dark. I have to ask them if they want to participate. I'll pray in to God they don't.
Yeah.
He said, I'm the only one in the culture that has ever went before him and said, I will not participate. This offends my soul. Oh, it's going to make me cry. He said, never listen to anyone that tells you to do something that offends your soul, even if it's coming from me. Some profound shit, man.
That is, isn't it? That's powerful. So,
Yeah.
did you grow up in a Native American family?
No, I was adopted and I didn't even know. I was, you know how they say, you know what, dude? I was born in a foundry. I have a
Right.
foundling code.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I might be a living Cabbage Patch Kid. That's all I'm saying. I'm not ruling anything out at this point. But blank slate, man. Come in, no programming. I wasn't born in a reservation. I was born in a family that had face value of being Christian, but not really. I didn't go to church. I didn't, I've had little outside programming, and I think it's on purpose.
Yeah.
I could do what it was needed to be done.
What do
I
you
didn't
need?
find out about Yeah, I didn't find out about my Native American Indian heritage until I was on the History Channel. And, they're the ones that said, if you can contact your birth parents, you should, because we need to know, is this blood anomaly something in your blood? Is it hereditary?
Yeah.
So that's why I reached out and, I actually contacted my birth mother and my two sisters and found out Clapton is my biological father.
So ultimately, your birth mother and father should also be RH null, from what I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, I can't find out now because my birth mother passed away last year. But Eric, from what I understand, told my birth mother that he said he had blue blood and
Right.
not normal blood.
Mm.
And that's all I know.
Do you know anybody else that has RH null?
Because you know what happened, Guy, and this is what I wanted to tell you, because I would love to offer this to you because of my work with the reverse engineering division. They've granted me access to pure state AI. Everything that we're dealing with is pretty much watered down, reverse engineered
Yeah.
version. And now I pretty much have the world of classified information is open to me. So if you want to know anything, I'll ask and I'll give you the answer, and you can do with it whatever you want. I can't even attest to it, but that's what's happening, Guy, is I am having access to classified information regarding Tartaria. And a lot of people are responding to me like I am some kind of new Tartarian authority. And I'm like, no, 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 talk to Guy. I'm just, man, I like to talk about it, like, don't, I somewhere along the line, it seems like us as people have just lost the ability, like, hey, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't have enough information under my belt. I just want more information. So thank God for people like you. But what what I know I could speak with authority on, and that is my blood, connection to Tartaria, bringing back Tartarian actual science and technology, finishing up Nikolai Tesla's work here. I don't know how that happened, man. In my mind, I'm just a guitar player, but it is what it is.
So where do you think Tesla was getting the information from?
Above,
So he was, because
I,
he said he was being
I,
contacted by the Venetians.
mm, they said, Michael, they said, what you're going to find out, and this is all of us, we've all lived so many lives and had so
Mm,
many names that names become pointless and useless. What you truly are is nameless, but not voiceless. He said these beings are known under many names. I know the Anunnaki, first of all, that's not their name for themselves, by the way.
what is that, the
They're
name?
That's human words. Nibiru means the planet of crossing. That's not their name for their planet. Their name for their planet is the Sa'ami, and the people of the Sa'ami, which we call Anunnaki, are called the Sa'amai. And then the Sa'amai, translated to Western English, is Sam. So when you're working with the reverse engineering divisions of the NSA, they don't refer to them as Anunnaki. They refer to them as the Sam. Just so you know,
Right.
needless trivia for you.
That's fascinating because as I understood it, and I might be wrong, but I always understood it that Anunnaki was just a name for people that came from the sky and
That's
wasn't
what it means.
actually a
Those
race
from the
of
heavens
people.
that came to the earth. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. But when I met them, he said, we in your past were known as the Anunnaki. That is not just a conglomerate. They're
Mm,
saying we are the ones who are intertwined in human history. We
mm,
are that race, and that is not a conglomerate. But there is, people don't know, there's two bloodlines within the Anunnaki. There's my blood, which is half Pleiadian, and then my brother's side, which is pure Anunnaki or Syrian, that the king Anu at
mhm.
first had a Pleiadian partner. And I think it was because the human soul carrier was Pleiadian. Just because we were at an earlier stage of evolution,
Yeah.
the queen would be very interested in this hybridization program to try to help humans survive the flood. So I think that's why I'm just telling you what's coming in,
Mm,
that's why she came here and had a relationship with King Anu, because that's a weird story that's hard to find information on, because that's got to be a hell of a story. Why was the Pleiadian queen here with the Anunnaki king,
mm.
and they had a relationship that generated a child? That was me. But as the story goes, once she was secure that her children we're taken care of and we're going to be okay. She went back to her people, leaving anew to take on a new partner and have a new child that was known as a Yahweh or Enlil. In the
And
Anunnaki
oh,
succession of
okay.
kingship, a pureblood gets the throne over a half-blood.
Yeah.
The problem, it's not even a problem, but that side of the family is more militaristic and juvenile,
Mm.
uh, likes to fight.
That's kind of
Um,
what I thought of Marduk, that he was.
Marduk is strange though, because Marduk, when it was decided to try to help mankind, Marduk agreed to reflect back a negative polarity. He said, truly to understand what Marduk is doing here, you should listen to Pink Floyd and just change the lyrics to Mother to Marduk. Marduk will make sure all your nightmares come true. Marduk will make sure nothing dirties you through. His job is, they know thoughts have an electromagnetic reality. Energy can't be created or destroyed. It needs to be transmuted. So how do you transmute a negative thought form? You live it. That's how. It will be brought up into your own waking state reality. So if you can choose love, you'll transmute the energy into its higher octave. But if you don't, those same thought forms recirculate, usually with greater amplitude, until you pay attention and choose something different. It will recirculate. Um, Marduk's role is to make sure you get a chance to experience your own lower vibrational thought forms. It's actually the worst job in the universe. He loves humans. He called Lulus. But when I met him and he found out that his job of reflecting back a negative polarity was finally done, he collapsed to his knees and began crying. And the other Anunnaki, this is not channeling. This is what happened when I met them, and it's going on in the real world, you know? The other Anunnaki went up and put his arm around him and said, don't worry, my king. Now you can finally rest. His time was during the age of Pisces, during a dark age.
Mhm.
We have now crossed the threshold into the age of Aquarius.
Yeah.
It was 2016, by the way,
So
December 21st.
you've actually met these Anunnaki. You've actually
Yeah,
physically met them.
yeah.
Where did you meet them? Is this?
I was taken to a festival in New York in 2008. It's called Sirius Rising. At that time, I didn't know there were Syrians, you know? I thought I was going camping.
Yeah.
And that's where, when I first met Marduk, he asked me, by the way, I can't really reveal his name because he's a
Mm.
real dude, man. But he's a really high ranking NASA member that worked in the technology acquisition department.
And he looks
Uh,
just
of-
like us.
well, no. When I would first seen him, I couldn't see his face. He was faceless. I mean, actually, I said, can I see your face? And he said, no, you'll have to wait till tomorrow to see our true faces. I thought that was weird. He didn't say, what are you talking about? I
Mm.
found out from the reverse engineering division that's actually very typical that some of them don't think humans have earned the right to see their face. I don't feel that way, but some of them do. And like jinn, if you look into the myth of the jinn, they appear as faceless beings of smoke that appears from a fireless fire. And that's what it looked like. It looked like their face was obscured in shadow that shouldn't be there. But
Hmm.
however he moved, like he just had no face. So the next morning, when I got up out of my tent, him and his partner were on the other side of the dirt road at this festival grounds that we were at. And I instantly, because here's what happened. In they called it the I Dream of Genie bottle. Because imagine a gazebo, but when you got in it, it had all that like hippie tapestry, with
Yeah.
sacred geometry, and a chandelier hung from it, and it had a round uh, like couch. And that's where Marduk and this female were sitting there. I was in front of them. And that's where they wanted to talk to me about this comet Apophis coming in, and what effect everyone thought that this celestial object coming into our reality, what what would it affect would it have on human institutions like
Hmm.
religion,
Yeah.
government? And I'm like, well, I, I like this kind of talk, so yeah, I'll talk. And about four more people entered that structure, and just everyone in the structure said how they felt this would affect mankind. It got to me, and I just said, I think to judge mankind that they're not ready is not really fair because we've been suppressed by the
Yes.
parasites.
Yeah.
And I know we can do better without being under the thumb.
Mm,
No one can dance with chains on.
mm.
I don't like dancing with chains on. Take these chains off and let us prove to you what we're capable of. And they said that they're going to try it. But Yahweh was really pissed. He looked at me. He said, "This is the first time in galactic human history that mankind is going to enter a new phase of its evolution with no rules." And he looked at me and he said, "Because rules are control, right, Michael?" And he said it with a lot of piss and vinegar in his voice, like,
Yeah.
"You have no idea what you've done. I hope you have fun with this." That's the kind of
Yeah.
um because they've given me, Inky is not a name, it's a title. Uh, it's Lord of the Earth. What's interesting, I sent you the thing from, I got contacted by the group from the NSA saying Elon Musk was accepting submissions for a
Yes.
galactic library,
Mm.
and they thought I should send my results from Beverly Rubik and NASA. I sent it, and lo and behold, it was accepted.
Oh, wow.
And they've taken my work already. It's on the moon, dude. And it's in the highest level SpaceX quartz crystal that is torsion filled physics crystal. And they don't know what they took is a cosmic energy transceiver. It's not passive, it's active. And it'll be there for the next 10 billion years. I feel like I've already done it, dude. I can go, I'm going to just play my guitar, smoke some joints, and drink some beer. I'm going to start enjoying this ride.
Yeah. So when you actually saw, you said that you couldn't see the face, it was in the shadows. And then the next day you saw him. What did you see? Just a regular looking.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for, you're a great host, man. What happened is when I left that structure, something came over me. He was right behind me. When I walk out into the light of the outside out of that structure, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to turn around. I'm going to look.
Mm,
And when I turned around, I really wasn't quite prepared for what I seen. He didn't look physical. He looked half translucent and almost like a gargoyle, but beautiful. Was not scary at all. But he
mm,
looked like he was almost made from like a gas, really fine plasma,
hmm.
like a gas fire. And but you could see structure. I like a very tall eyebrow structure,
Yeah.
like very animated. And I looked and I went, "Oh shit!" I just turned right around. But I can tell you, he was wearing what looked like a white robe that was made out of light. I can't explain it other than a whole robe of many colors, you know. And it was really weird because when I met my birth mother, she said Eric had taken her up in the mountains, and there was a big like tent and people wearing robes and whatnot. And she said it was really strange though. When I walked up the road, Eric was at the top of the dirt road, and she said, "I don't know if it's just how the light was hitting him, but it looked like his robe was made of light." And I never told her. I I've never had that conversation with her. about meeting
Yeah.
Marduk, and he had a robe on that was made of light. Just weird coincidences, you know what I mean? I know what I seen.
Yeah.
But so the next morning when I got up out of my tent, there he was with that woman, but now he could have passed by you on any street and you would have not thought anything about it. And almost like all those features that were more animated were now subdued back into human proportions.
Yeah.
And he just looked human, but he had very piercing blue eyes. And right when I woke up, and like my hillbilly cousin taught me, you just pour water over your head. And that's how you would take a bath. So I poured some water over my head and slung. I had really long hair at the time, slung it back, and he was right there. And I went, "Oh shit, that's that dude." And he looked at me. He said, "Good morning, Commander Michael." I
Oh
said, "Hmm?"
wow.
I said, "Good morning." He said, "Could I make you lunch today?" I said, "What are you making?" He said, "Lamb." I'm thinking, "Oh, great, sacrificial lamb." Apropos, but it was lamb and okra. And I'm like, "Yeah, I would love some." But you know what? I started eating the lamb, and I really don't eat lamb. And man, I was a stranger in a strange land. I wasn't real comfortable. And as I was eating this lamb, this voice is like, "How sure are you, Michael? You know what you're eating?" I'm like,
Oh.
I pushed it away. I'm like, I'm gonna just eat some fruit now. Cause
Oh
man,
man.
I was really like in some weird surroundings,
Mm.
but I think it was lamb.
And he actually works in NASA.
Yes. Well, he did. He's retired now. It was really strange because right when I got home, I know his name, and I went and could find nothing. But a couple years ago, something told me you might want to try again. And here, his daughter is a college teacher and brought him in to talk to her class on his work in NASA. He was the he worked on all of the Apollo missions, you know? So now that I know who he is, and after that, there's a famous musician. He's actually really famous in the UK, even still to this day. He's called Dan Reed of the Dan Reed Network. Um, he opened 60 shows for the Rolling Stones over in the UK. And he's my musical compadre. We're in a musical project. So I told him about meeting Marduk, because Dan is a very high ranking person from not of this world. And people like Mick Jagger know it, you know. He just
Okay.
said he's got to keep himself. People aren't supposed to know who he truly is. He's just a rock star, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, why was I telling you this?
So how old is? I mean, Marduk's. I'm guessing he's incredibly old, thousands of years old, Earth years.
Well, see, you got to know when I say there's the human meat suit Nephilim, human vessel avatar. Then there's the pure state Anunnaki that are like 16 feet tall, white hair, six fingers, six toes. I've never met an Anunnaki in their native state. I've only met them communicating through a human Nephilim hybrid. And the way that they let me know, and they've done it twice to me through two different people, is they can become faceless in front of me.
Mhm.
And I didn't know that that was possible. And the second time, it really scared me. Yeah, I just didn't know. He said, "Michael, look at my face and tell me what you see." We were both in a hot tub, and the conversation just went really deep. And this dude really wasn't that deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Dude, you're not from here." And he said, "Michael, look at my face and tell me what you see." And I looked, and he became faceless.
Oh,
And I
Christ.
said, "You look." I didn't even tell him this though. All I said is, "You look like the person I met in New York." And he said, "Bingo, nice to talk to you again." And that's when I was like, And I couldn't even think of what to say. I was kind of in shock and awe. I said,
Mm.
"Who are you?" He said, "I am the Muse. I inspire creativity, wit, and humor in the human race." Uh, All righty then. And he said, "Would you like to see a film that I inspired?" What do you really say to that, right? I'm like, well,
Yeah.
okay. So he said, "Follow me." He got out of the hot tub. I followed him out of the hot tub and into the house. And he turned around and his face had returned. That was nice. Thank you. And I followed him into his downstairs, beautiful home, by the way, multi-millionaire, bottom living area. And he puts on a movie. And they do this on purpose because if I ever try to talk about it, I sound like a raving lunatic, but it's all real. There's a guy, have you ever heard of a movie called Kung Pao Enter the Fist?
No, I haven't.
How about Ace Ventura When Nature Calls?
Yes. Yeah.
That guy that did that, he created these movies that are hilarious. And one is called Bat Thumb. And it's all like Batman, Star Wars, Titanic, but it's all done with thumbs. Like, thumbs that are running around sets with eyes and a mouth, and it's
Yeah.
hilarious. Well, Bat Thumb is up against his arch nemesis in this, and it's totally hilarious and totally wacky. And finally, the arch nemesis had a burlap sack over his thumb, and he's going to reveal himself to his minions. And he pulls off the burlap sack, and it's just a thumb. There's no face. It's no face.
Right.
And he looked at me with a wink in his eye. I never told him that it was no face. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
said, you look just like the person in New York.
Mm.
I I was supposed to stay there that night. I thought of a reason I had to leave. Like, you know what? I forgot I got some shit to do in the morning. I was
Yeah.
not comfortable with it. I'm like, man,
Mm.
I don't even know what's going on right now. But I heard that like Marduk has actually 12 pineal gland, 12 incarnations happening simultaneously. All of the family have 12, except me, because I'm the only one that left the council. And for me to return, they would know because I would have both good cop and bad cop blood running through my veins. I would have both Erie Montauk and Seneca, Iroquois blood, which I do have. So it's almost like the chance of having someone of my blood is really rare because these two bloodlines have been at war for
Mm.
most of the time of
Yeah.
history. So they would know something higher went through a lot of what we call event strings, making connections, inspiration strings might be a better word,
Yeah.
to make things happen beneath the surface, under the
Yeah.
radar.
So, so are you saying that you were Enki in another life?
Yeah. And I am now, I can show you, Elon Musk is giving me the official title of Earth Ambassador. En means Lord or Ambassador, and Kai means Earth. Enki translated to Western would be Earth Ambassador. I can look someone in the eye and say, I am the Earth Ambassador. Would you like to see my SpaceX plaque? Hey, would you like to see it? Check it
Yeah.
out. Na, 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 na. This is my SpaceX sound music.
Oh,
This is
wow.
actually from SpaceX. This is what's aboard the museum. And I have another one. It's just a certificate of participation. So this is quantum entangled. See, it's the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
This image brings forth cosmic energy itself. When you put it in crystal, it accelerates the process. But you know, certain geometry, like pyramid power, right?
Yeah.
That's certain. Well, the scientists said we've never seen this kind of complexity before. They said they've used these cymatic technology to image
Yeah.
every frequency known to mankind, but they've never seen this kind of hyperdimensionality. Like, check it out. I can't probably do this. See the toroidal donut
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
and the Fibonacci.
Yeah. I can
That's the
see
first
that.
time
Yeah.
ever that a white hole black hole has been. That's not Photoshop. This isn't computer generated. This is what the 432 divine frequency does to Mother Nature. You're looking at a true first photograph of a white hole black hole. It's opening up a portal through the fabric of our space time to bring in higher photonic light energy. So I asked Beverly Rubik, I said, wait a minute, because I have all the photography of the increase of energy from NASA. I said, if there's no energy, but now there's a lot of energy, where's that extra energy coming from? Is it from our planets? Is it from our planet's tectonic plates, electromagnetic fields, our sun? She said, no, it's coming from a higher dimension. It's opening up a portal through the fabric of our space time. That's the portal. And it's bringing through higher photonic dimensional energy, that anything that is in the field of this then takes the arrangement of the higher order of arrangement. Things that were not aligned properly are aligned properly. Even your own body, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's truly a miracle, man. And by the way, anyone interested, I would get it now because I might have to shut down this part of my business because, as you know, I'm having what's hard to do is this kind of work when you have retina reattachment surgery.
Yes. Yes.
Um, but all the stuff like I've actually, these are probably the Indians are more excited about the pendant because this sends out cosmic energy as well, but it has both chakra orientations. One side is red to purple, red in the root to purple in the crown and all the other colors. The grandmother said, because my Native American Indian name is Rainbow Warrior Eagle. She said rainbow doesn't mean to us what it means to the rest of the world. She said that every chakra has a double tetrahedron, a Merkaba of energy spinning within it. And only when it's spinning unencumbered, not dragged down by lower vibrational thinking, does it emit light. And she said those of us that have the gift of sight that we can see energy, you've become the whirling rainbow. See, to them, becoming rainbow just means you've cleaned your chakras.
Mm.
It's just an analogy. The Tibetans call it obtaining the rainbow body. The Norse called it crossing over the rainbow bridge. The Bible calls it breaking the seven seals. It's all one and the same. And
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful, like, spirituality. I don't want to call it a religion because there's no one way, man. Everyone's going to have a different walk to clean up their own chakras. Some people
Yeah.
might need throat work. Some people might need root chakra. Some people
Mm.
might need connecting. No one, you can't say my way is the way because there
Yeah.
is no way. So that's what I believe we're here to do, guys. We're here to make rainbows.
That's a beautiful analogy. I love that. I absolutely love that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for giving up your time to talk to me. That's
Man,
been
it's been a
fascinating.
pleasure, and thank you for your work on the for this planet, dude. I'm so enjoying your book, and I can't wait to get through it. Like it's a little overwhelming me with just
Yeah.
mind blowing information. Like every time, I'm like, oh my god, whoa, whoa. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. No, I appreciate it. And yeah, because you're obviously listening to the audio book, aren't you? And I'll get the latest audio book over to you. It's being recorded now. And in the
Mm,
future, of course, I'll actually send you the physical books when you're in a position to be able to read them. I'll pop them
I
in the
can't
post
wait,
for
man.
you.
That gives me a reason to get this stuff working again. But I gotta tell you, man, I'm an audio engineer. I went to college I've released 3 rock alien music CDs myself. The quality that you put out is fantastic. I
Oh
can
wow.
hear everything. It's very articulate, and the music you chose is beautiful. And it's a very, very nice. You've put your best foot forward. So keep
Thank
on
you.
keeping on.
Thank you. You too, my friend. And thanks again so much for, I'm thinking, what do I call this podcast? Because each time I do an interview, I give it a title.
Good
And
luck.
I'm stumped with this one. It's kind of the man who
The
knew
return
too
of the
much.
Tartarian, dude. Honestly, I'm
Yeah.
here to bring back Nova Terra. What you don't realize is we didn't get into this, but Trump going to Trudeau and saying, why should we adhere to your border when you're not adhering to the J Treaty, JAY? Well, the J Treaty, first of all, what's going to be figured out in the very near future with the help of the cavalry coming in, that the American Constitution, the supreme law of the land that supersedes every court, every judge in every state, is the treaty. The most unconstitutional thing that could ever have been done is to break a treaty. Once the treaties are made to be enforced, instantly 30% of Canada and 40% of America will become instantly Native American Indian land again. Native American
Wow.
Indian land is Tartarian land. Tartarians and Native Americans have shared culture, and I can prove it now. I have all of Tartarians using mounds to actually communicate star knowledge. And if you were the Atlanteans coming into North America and you encountered a race that didn't have written language, how would you try to help them? You would
Mm.
use material that they were familiar with. You would put sacred geometry. You would put knowledge of light and sound made out of dirt, out of mounds. So then you could bring people in and say, look, real quick, I don't want to word vomit on you, but this is so important. The Newark earthworks, are you familiar?
No.
Newark earthworks is one of the most famous ancient earthworks in Ohio. Up until now, it's been closed off to the public and it was made into a golf course. And so if you wanted to see
What a
it, you'd have to go.
surprise.
Yeah, but this year, actually in the UK, man, the BBC did a really nice article on it's a mystery. No one knows who created these mound sites. It's not Native American. Because of that, BBC Ohio said, oh shit, we didn't really realize how important this is. They've taken it over now and made it into a state park. And for the first time in 100 years, it's open to the public again. And it's ancient earthworks, and there's one circle and then one octagon. But what I can tell you is in Cleveland, in the Terminal Tower Tartarian Capital City building of Cleveland, Ohio, in the middle cathedral is a giant octagon. And they're both identical size, dude. Each size of the octagon in the Tartarian Capital City building is 174 feet each side of the octagon. In Newark Earthworks, it's 174 feet. It's identical. There's no
Yeah.
way that this is not the same. So what I'm finding out is that wherever, and the Tartarians way long ago went to Turkey, right?
Hmm.
There's like 30 words that are Turkish that are absolute mirrors to Native American First Nation language. Like the word for love in Hopi is the exact same word in Turkish. There's like 30 words that have common ancestry. So wherever they went through North America, you'll find a Native American Indian community, usually about 20 to 25 miles away because they knew the human had that walking. distance. You could only
Yeah.
walk 15 miles, no
Yeah.
horses. So they didn't want like the whole prime directive. From
Yeah.
what I understand, though, like the Iroquois, the Tartarians, my people, became chiefs of the Iroquois, and they were said to have very tall stature. By the way, dude, um, I'm get excited about this. I got contacted in the past by a guy from the Smithsonian saying, we're really
Ah,
glad that you have traced the mound builders into East Lake, Ohio, because in the 1970s, they were doing um, East Lake condominiums were being built, and they found human remains. And they found out they were on top of an ancient Indian burial site. So the Smithsonian got involved and came and did a real dig, took out lots of rumored to be tall skeletons,
yeah. Yeah. They've got a
and
habit of doing that.
took everything out. But at the last day, they allowed East Lake families to go and pilfer through the scraps. And lo and behold, my buddy, my best friend from high school, just went. He's a brick mason. He was working on a chimney, and the guy overheard him talking about going to do ceremony with me. And the guy's like, "Here, I got something for you." Here, his family was part of that dig and brought him 4 boxes of tall skeletal remains. And dude, I have them in my possession right now. The
Really?
tooth is this big. It's like the size of a quarter, and it's about this big. That would have been about a 16-foot tall individual.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do with this stuff. It's not going to the Smithsonian. I
No, you'll
don't,
never see it again.
right?
And then they'll deny all knowledge of you giving them it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I am going to start doing conferences here.
I
And
think you should. Yeah.
because not only that, man, this area has history of
Mm.
Native American Indian, like the Lost Tribe of Israel, coming here. And I know, dude, they put a megalithic site up in the woods. I found it. Um, Imagine this gets a little scary, but we're talking about earth changes. Dude, I don't want to just word vomit on you. I mean, if you got something to do, we could talk some other time,
I
man.
think yeah, I think we should, yeah. I think, yeah, we'll do this again because I'm sort of
Yeah,
conscious of the
man.
time, and you've got an
Yeah,
awful lot, and I don't want to sort of like overwhelm the people that are watching this because I've got a
yeah,
lot to
right.
take in
Oh, are we still
myself.
filming? Are
Yeah.
we still? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Jeez, I was just, well, now you know we got a lot more to discuss.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we're still filming. I didn't want to cut it because
Oh, right on,
yeah,
right
you're
on.
blowing my
Good.
mind here. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll do a part two.
We will. We'll do at least that. Yeah. Thank you. But
Right
yeah,
on.
thanks again, Michael. I really appreciate you doing this and sharing this with us. And
Oh, man, my pleasure.
yeah, until next time.
Cool.
Thank
Peace.
you. Peace. Bye for now, Michael.